is gonna try.
No. Nice. Go Drake. You can smurfing. Keep it up, okay?
No. Nice. Look at burning. Corki no flash.
Penta.
Here trying to body block. Patrick poking. Any damage that gets to stick. Now the follow-up. Clean wombo combo. Closer immediately in the back line. Everybody withdrawing.
Oh my
But they're just getting started. It ends up getting laced for them.
They took their sweet time to get it, but in the end, GX gets the win. And welcome back to the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in with Closer this time.
Hello.
Thank you for finally joining me and finally ending the game. Do you have one word to describe this one?
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Okay, let's go with that. I think we can all agree. It takes time at the beginning of the season to things to get in motion, so I'm going to be merciful with you guys. Of course, the next team's gearing up for the match of the week, but I have a lot of things to ask you. What were you thinking? What were you thinking seeing the clock ticking? 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. What goes in a pro player's mind when things run for this long?
I think after like second elder and we still can't end the game, I was like, this is just embarrassing.
Oh my God.
But honestly, I'm just happy we didn't lose. Like, we are 2-0, you know. I think we played pretty bad. They played pretty bad too. So, I mean, we just have to step it up for next game.
Yeah, but in the end, it's still 2-0 on the scoreboard for you guys. So great start to the season. I've heard great things about GX in scrims, so I'm taking things are going well for you so far. Maybe cleaner games in the future.
It is going well for us.
All right.
Let's not count today. I think, I mean, we are still 2-0 and we play KC tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if they are 2-0 as well, we can see who will lose their 0 first.
I mean, the next matchup is going to be interesting for sure. Do you have any prediction for the next game, actually? Movistar KOI versus your former team. I see Vladi looking at you. Don't fail him.
I think Vladi will carry. I think KC will win.
KC will win. We'll see about this in a few minutes. Fans are happy, of course. Closer, thank you so much for the interview. Congrats on ending and winning this game, of course.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you tomorrow for Game 3. Sjokz, over to you. For more on that game, the next one, I'm not sure, actually. Take it away.
It's Spain against France. I think just there is so much rivalry going.
If there's one team that we don't want to lose again, it's them, KOI.
But I think they have like Caliste, and I think he's one of the biggest talents that are coming now.
It's going to be quite a close match. I think KC has improved their team a lot.
The spot is out! Supa is down! Listen to this crowd!
With Jojopyun coming, they have a better team.
Jojopyun is bringing a lot to their team.
100 Thieves have already lost 2 men, and it's not stopping there. Sniper wants his hero moment. Instead, he gets slammed back into the wall and beat down into the ground. A double kill for Jojo.
I want to prove that Case is going to be better than KOI this year.
It's going to be a game that everyone is going to fight.
We're going to win, and we're going to just play better than them. We're going to crush it.
These fists ain't just for show. Come on! Who's next? This is the coil before the strike. Let's settle the score. You'll want to get a close-up of this. Like the ivory serpent, I don't back down when it comes to family. You pick a fight with them, you pick a fight with me. Hometown hero coming through. Mom's fought for me since I was born. It's my turn now.
Is he switching lanes?
Well, GX and Rogue made us wait for it, but we didn't mind. It was quite exciting. And maybe the track put you to sleep, but we're gonna wake you back up because it's time for our very first match of the week of the 2025 season. And who else but Movistar KOI versus KC. Both of them won yesterday, and that's always a fantastic, I think, red carpet like run up into the match of the week. It's a little lame when the one didn't win, but they are, for me, two of the most impressive teams coming out of day one.
Yeah, and two quick hits. It's over G2 and it's over Fnatic that they won.
Yeah.
KC had never beaten G2 before. They managed to do that with their old jungler. And then, of course, with Movistar Riders, Movistar KOI, I'm mixing in those two organizations. But Jojopyun, fantastic appearance.
Yeah, I think they're two of the most exciting prospects that we've seen come through. And I'm excited now to see how they're going to face off against each other.
Yes, and Jojo, we've talked about it already. He brings the spice. He also went on OTP and made a tier list. And he made a point to, as we will see in just a second, put his own team, of course, in the very first tier. But as we will see very shortly, KC down at the bottom in the eliminated tier. So he's not afraid to keep the spice close to his chest, both in-game and out-of-game.
He did not see the format video. There's only 2 teams getting eliminated first, but, you know, I mean...
It's true, maybe. Yeah, he's like, all for you.
Yeah.
Crap. Anyways, there is a big storyline here across from it. We heard it in the video already. There is some personal beef to be settled, not in the least in the bot lane. Guldborg, you have a lot of experience with the ERL scene and with that epic, I want to say, Supa versus Caliste EM final.
Yeah, I mean, the 2023 final was probably one of the best EMEA finals I've ever seen in my entire life. Had the pleasure of casting it at the time too. And Supa versus Caliste was just fantastic. I'm just going to let you listen to it.
Or not.
But my point is just here, the crowd was absolutely amazing at the point, and Supa and Caliste, it looked like Caliste was going to have his number in the beginning. 2 games went to KC in the beginning. It looked like he was just straight up the better AD carry, but then Supa managed to take it to all 5 games in a game where it just went to absolute madness.
He did, but it was KC and Caliste that were triumphant. So for Supa, he did get to the LEC faster, also because Caliste wasn't eligible yet, right? But that is something that I think he'll want to show his revenge and show you have only just stepped onto this LEC stage. I already played a final here.
I think it's also the fact that Caliste came in with so much hype, whereas Supa nearly felt like he didn't get as much hype because he was under the shadow of Caliste. So I think especially now that he has the extra year in the LEC, I think Supa will really want to step up and show, hey, look, no, I am the actual AD carry that you should be trying to focus on here. And I think that's why a lot of people are seeing if Caliste can now run back what was the EMEA Master setup.
And a little discussion you were having amongst yourselves on the desk about Alvaro, if he is the best support in the league. Of course, this is 1 game sample size, but also just kind of the history of what he did show last year. Is this something you're looking at in this match?
I definitely am. So the reason I was kind of saying I think he's starting to look like the best support in the league is Mickey just hasn't been having the performances that he regularly does. I think Jun was the other big candidate for me. Now, after the games today, maybe we have to reevaluate Jun's tier list here, but I think the Alvaro has been pretty consistent even when they were at Worlds as well. We start to see a lot of great stuff from him. And yesterday, he was the defining factor for me. Consistently catching out Mickey in positions that he shouldn't be in. The engages were great, but even the understanding of when to engage. He was very happy to just sit on the side, put pressure onto the enemy backline, but never actually engage and cause an absolute ruckus there. So that's where I think Alvaro is really starting to come in to a really special support and one we have to keep our eyes on.
Who's winning then? It's a great match between, I think, two of the fan bases who have finally kind of rivaled the G2 head. How do you say that? Hegemony? I don't know. But the might we've seen in terms of the fan support they bring, even last year already, it's only stronger now, and it's only going to get stronger as they do great. As I asked, who's winning?
I think KC's winning straight up. I actually think they have a really good track record against the bot lane. I mean, we're talking about Alvaro. Last time Targamas looked this good, or looked good rather, actually, was in the EMEA Masters. It is rough to say. He had a rough year last year, but I think this is just KC's time.
Mad Lions KOI, mid-jungle support too strong.
Movistar
They've
KOI.
been absolutely insane.
Movistar KOI, indeed.
Movistar KOI.
You know, we're just trying to get used to it, but it's going to be a fantastic matchup. Hopefully it takes as long as the previous one did. This is your match of the week.
Well-deserved match of the week, isn't it? Because Movistar KOI and KC both defeated the behemoths of the league yesterday. I'm Hysterics. Big introduction to Nymaera, who's joining us here in Winter, and it's a pleasure to have you. Another LPL cast. They just keep bringing it back in, eh?
I mean, last time we were casting, the Shy qualified for Worlds,
Oh
so it's a
my
bit of a different setting.
It's been 5 seconds. We already talked about the Shy. Well, there's a couple of players on this squad that we can talk about the Shy, because Canna and Myrwn both have that same energy. As we're straight to pick and ban for our match of the week, and I think the most exciting thing about this Nymaera is the fact that these two teams yesterday, as I said, beating Fnatic, beating G2, both fantastic teams in the league, and we expect them to be top teams in the league as well.
Absolutely, and you know, these two really are the new era of the LEC, and you can absolutely hear the energy totally with it. So as we go into this first bit of the draft, of course, we've got a lot of our standards being removed. The Vi and the Skarner really have warped a lot of the drafts across the world. That's what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Now the question is, you know, what is going to be let through? Something like Calista could actually be very powerful here, so you're seeing that in a lot of different drafts.
That's a good point, isn't it? Because again, normally we see things like Victor let through, which is actually the final ban by KC on red side, and you mentioned it, you hit the nail. You're already here 2 seconds. You can get us our first
Locked
pick.
in, brother.
Oh my God, you came to play, didn't you? On the other side, you know, Varus is something we talked about quite a lot here on the broadcast. Ash is something as well. Where else do you want to go?
Well, there's a big decision which Karmine Corp need to make now. Do you want to match lanes, or do you want to lock something in that you will lane swap away from and deny Kalista some of that power? It's been a big question across the world. Something like that Corki, of course, can be flexed between mid and bot. Both these players, of course, will be very, very familiar with that one. I would imagine it can be putting towards that bot side, though, and maybe looking towards a lane swap, though, just to avoid that Kalista. It's too hard to be in lane one.
And do you now see the Maokai as well and say, well, that's also potentially a double/triple flex? We saw Maokai top today, actually, coming out of the LPL too. So Shanji from NIP piloting that makes me think, well, that could get a little spicy as well as KC locked that in. Now the other question is pairings that come through for KOI and how they want to match.
Absolutely, because you can just say, all right, full lane dominance, especially with something like the Maokai as well. The Renata gives you a really good ability to just say, all right, you're going to heavy engage with the Maokai. We can do exactly the same, or the opposite to that. You throw out that Renata ultimate and answer it the same way. Kasante also great at answering that Maokai ultimate. So already KC, that Maokai is their big go button. 2 great answers locked in response from Movistar KOI.
Versus Renata as well. Remember, we've seen the Kalista absolutely 0 times because it's been banned quite a lot. 7 bans so far in the LEC. So the fact that we're getting this duo come out from Supa and Alvaro when they have been lane dominant, when day 1 has been great for this 2v2, is nice news considering that Myrwn is going to be that supportive element, his second game at Kasante in a row.
Varus locked in. So good amount of range for Karmine Corp so far. And I think that's really important because I think the trap which you can fall into now is you want to dive onto the Kalista when they've got their Renata, and throwing your bodies into the fray just doesn't work against Renata.
Yeah.
Renata turns you against each other, and that ultimate really turns the team fight around. Now I'm looking at things which can really pile on from range at that point. Maybe stuff like Rumble needs to be removed from KOI right now, because I think that Karmine Corp would love to have that in there. Anything which can kind of throw stuff at Kalista, but not their bodies.
Remember again, I mean, we're down to 85% AD with what is it, 80% AD, 20% true damage, whatever the Corki ratios are. We don't get AP anymore, so we're looking for an AP source at least for KC to add on top of that, as well as Orianna is taken away, which might show you a little bit what they're concerned about running into the matchup.
Yeah, trying to remove again another one of those kind of like minefield champions. You run into them and they punish you really, really hard. The Shockwave's very good at that. You could also see something a little bit longer range like the Azir we saw in that last game. Of course, it does really well when the game goes long. Sadly, it didn't work out for that last game, but at least it went long.
A 59-minute game to really utilize Azir. God damn.
They really made us wait for this one, didn't they?
I just loved, you know, looking at some of the LEC chat, people referencing Helm's Deep, you know, one last time, one last ride. Like, I really felt like it. I mean, it took 59 minutes to get here, and hopefully their drafts don't disappoint since we waited so long, as the Pyke is one takeaway from KC in the meantime. I wonder what else adds to the minefield you were talking about that KC really care about.
A couple of different options. You can go for like very full disengage and have stuff like Viego, which can kind of ult backwards, or you can go towards something like, I mean, obviously KOI don't have themselves at AP damage right now to go towards something like a Zyra if they want to do something very different in that sense too. Lots of different options. I don't think that pigeonhole too much. That's good. It takes the pressure off in the second round of bans and just says, okay, yes, we're losing some mid laners, but we do have flexibility elsewhere. We're not really sweating just yet.
There has been a lobby issue, so the champ select will slow down a little bit as well. I think they're catching back up, just so you know at home. That's why this ban is taking a little bit longer as well, so I'll update you if there's anything further. Seraphine! Okay. Okay. Placeholder or serious? Either way, it's gone. I mean, to be fair, Seraphine we have had a lot of bot lane mages as well, and even pairings in the support position, so not too surprised here when we talk a little bit about AP damage and how it might need to slot into KC. As I know you also talked about the range of this composition and what value it adds in as well. I'm wondering, what else do you slot in that rumble you talked about? I mean, I guess, yeah, again, that adds range.
It's something which is a damage threat without going melee range of the Kalista, which typically not great for your short-term health. So that one's going to be locked in fairly easy on that one. You have the Maokai and the Rumble, which can both get some CC down and allow you to get that equalizer for a longer duration onto that as well. So, hovering over that Xin Zhao, I like that. Of course, you have to go melee range into a Xin Zhao to get some value into that one. Kind of a little bit difficult on the other side of things to try and make the most. So of course, we do have Myrwn with them. We'll be pretty good at flexing around some different picks as well. Watch out because he... well, wait, hang on, that's Cassandra.
No,
First day back.
To be fair, I mean, this is the one team in the league I'd be like, Cassandra can still technically go mid.
It just got me because I saw the Zarya and I'm like, ooh, Zarya.
I mean, Cassandra can't go mid, so I'm just going to hold on to your thought, whether it's intentional or not, and see how they round out the draft. Now, we do have a duelist from Elyoya, and we see a skirmish comp being built if I've ever seen one. Yo, what a debut for you. This champion, a lot of people know that you sync up with it quite nicely. And Ahri's in. Alright, strong mid jungle for game one.
Thank you very much, Jojo. I get to watch my favorite champion get played into this one.
Yep.
We assume it's going to be, of course, into that Corki into the mid lane as well. Last pick, potential support, potential jungler. The Maokai is a flex between the two of them. You might want to go towards that Rell for the extra engage, and indeed they do. So you have Rell, you have the Maokai, you have the Varus ultimates, all pinning people down for the equalizer to get huge value on the side of KOI Corp. On the other side, they are trying to make it as hard as possible to get as much of that damage down. You have the Ahri that can dash out, you have the Xin Zhao that can pop that ult as well, and the Renata can bail out anyone who has been actually caught out of position. So we've got one side which is trying to respond to it, the disengage, and the other one trying to throw on all the damage in the right moments.
Well, as we're about to get into our third game of the day, our match of the week, it is the brilliance of Spain and France. It is the rivalry that, you know, last year split and split again, Nymaera. The crowd came out, they bellowed, they set it up. Vamonos and Allons-y, both alike as my representation to take you into what should be a blast. And let's hope these skirmishes really power out. Welcome to our match of the week, our first one of the year. And we hope it delivers like they did yesterday against G2 and Fnatic alike.
First things first, into the early game. Well, that's first things first, makes like a PC for us. So I'm saying, oh yeah, let's watch out to see if we get a lane swap and whether we get those 1v1s and 2v2s instead and really get to see the lane matchups work out. We have a little bit more time to ruminate on though as we get the pause coming through.
We do indeed. One thing I did notice that fans might be happy to hear is that, you know, Rell is 100% present still throughout the day. Now, I did just realize that because, you know, not only watching through LPL, you know, watching regions like LCK, I feel like Rell is strong. But I don't feel like Rell has this same high-level presence as like, man, this is like the best support in the game right now. Oh my god.
I don't think we need to say much when the crowd's like this, do we? It tends to do a bit of our job for us. It is an absolute blessing to hear these fan bases go at it, though. I mean, So talked about a lot with the desk, right? You know, and of course yourself on the way into this. Both these teams beat one of our big dogs in terms of the LEC fan bases, and these two are really the new blood. You can definitely say a lot about that and the energy which they bring. Bro, it's always nice to hear.
You got a sign. Someone said you're the GOAT. Yeah.
Am I?
Bro, you've got a sign in front of the mat, in front of the
I can't believe I
Movistar
missed
KOI.
it. Oh, that's really sweet. Huh. Do I have to bleat now or something? Is that the GOAT thing?
That is.
I'm not sure I'm getting paid enough for that.
Well, we'll see. You'll see in a second. Behind the Movistar KOI fans. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see in the bottom of your screen, just a side note. It's a software driver issue. They're investigating. They're sorting it out. I don't know who it is. It's KC, someone in KC. And it looks like it could be Canna, question mark, as ref stands behind him. And that's just my guess. There it is, look.
Thank you.
Look. Cute.
That is very sweet. It is a warm welcome from fans and gameplay alike.
Yeah. Ew. And while we sort that out, a quick side note as well. We've got a lot to talk about in these two teams. I mean, we talked a lot about Jojo yesterday. I think he got a fair beat considering that his Azir game was fantastic. I don't think we hyped up Supa and Alvaro enough considering that their laning phase was really good. And then I think Alvaro all of last year coming in and debuting in his rookie year performed so well. And then his first game out of the bat, he's like performing like one of the best supports in the league again, you know?
And given the context that, you know, MadKoi last year had a bunch of ERL rookies, made it to Worlds anyway, had a, you know, a very good showing when you put that into context. Come into this year now and you say, well, okay, where do you start off now? You've now added someone else to the roster who potentially fixes up, I think, the most criticized role within that roster last year. And Jojo, of course, there's a whole individual story there, but he's come in at a high level. He gets to play at that too. I really want to see how that enables and gives a platform to players like Alvaro, like Supa, who we know have a higher potential on there too. And what better way to, you know, start that off with one of the most hype matchups they can possibly have within the region.
I mean, look, KC's performance yesterday. Like, when they beat down G2 at the end of the day, they did what a lot of people thought wasn't possible. They beat one of the best teams coming through, even though with the roster changes, G2 were, you know, questioned. They were still considered first, second. And KC actually took them quite convincingly as well. So, yeah, there's high expectations now set on these two teams. The winner comes out 2-0. And while, yes, Giant X are also 2-0, I have to be real. Like, after that game, I'm not going to be like, yeah, those are equal teams. I think
yeah, 2-0, but in what game time?
Anything less than 59 minutes is a big win.
And then it's just like a medium win after that.
Oh, yeah.
Does it start to have size scale?
If it goes longer than 59 minutes, we're going to talk.
Is there an inverse proportionality? What happens if you win in 16 minutes and 47 seconds?
Oh, my God, well, then I don't know. We're going to be here. We'll be here or not. There is a PC restart on Canna, by the way, so it was indeed Canna. That is being sorted out. I've been told there's about 2 minutes left, if even that. So let's hope. We've all been there. Don't worry about it.
I don't think I have. I don't think I've been on the stage like that before.
No?
No.
No, you haven't.
Not quite.
No,
There's still time yet.
Very different experience. Side note, I apologize to the Spanish fans. I said, Laure told me backstage, it's not vamonos, it's bamanos, correct? Yes? Good.
Yes.
Okay. I apologize.
V is B
and
in Spanish.
And Laure told me allons-y. Allons-y? Or
allons-y. See, I only know that because David Tennant said that as the doctor. One time.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything because in Australia we don't even learn English. Like, bro, down there.
It's a modern miracle of science that we're able to cast together.
I had to come to Germany and learn English first before anything else, and now everything's just an uphill battle.
That explains a lot about our time in the LPL, buddy. Just I'll leave that one.
It was weird because in primary school they taught us Italian, and it's like, bro, you know how far is that? How specific is that? What are we gonna do with that? And then eventually, you know, you go to high school and they teach you Japanese, and it's like, that's relevant, you know?
Okay, slight tangent on the Italian. I have a fun fact about Varus, who's obviously in this game. You know there was a famous Roman guy called Varus?
Oh, yes.
Quintilius Varus. He was the guy that lost 3 legions in Teutoburg Forest.
Where is that forest located?
In Germany. It's quite close to our current location. So if Varus ever gets ambushed in a forest, there is historical precedent.
Ah, okay.
Old Varus of Rome.
And what year was this?
9 AD.
9 years after some.
Can you tell that I looked up the Wikipedia page quite recently?
No, because honestly, I don't remember anything past last Tuesday. Like, so don't worry. Any history before then, absolutely out the window. I actually just started, you know, I started learning like general history in the past couple of years.
There's a lot to go through. Where have you made it to? Have you made it past, you know, like minus 10,000?
No, I mean, I did start with the Roman Empire, as all people do. You know, there was that meme going around. My wife always asks me, she goes, when was the last time you thought about the Roman Empire? And that question I can leave as we throw it over to Sjokz as we try and fix this issue. Sjokz, when do you think about the Roman Empire? When last?
Just now, because you mentioned it, but I was actually thinking about the Vamos Vámonos thing. I looked it up this morning, and it's like we go, Vamos is like we go, and Vámonos is let's go. Yeah, exactly. And then he also tried to pronounce Allons-y very badly, but now you're here, so you can fix it. But okay, there we go. Yeah, it's the stress. Hey, we didn't get your voice yet, Laure. We do have a little bit of a longer break as we're trying to get it sorted. But talk to me kind of about the atmosphere in the studio that you saw yesterday and that you saw for the win for KC and for, I guess, the excitement about what this year could be.
It is crazy. I mean, in any case, it can't be worse than last year.
But it's a great point. Love that. Love that.
I was really, really satisfied with what we saw from them yesterday. I do feel like they came strong as a team, and I visited their office actually 2 weeks ago, so I saw how they're working and everything, and you can see that the team really already clicks together, and it feels like they have more win conditions as a team than what they had last year, for instance. So let's see how today goes, because I don't know what we can understand from KOI from yesterday either. But the fans, I mean, look at them honestly in the studio. It's actually crazy.
It's amazing. You didn't visit their house yet. Maybe we need to plan
I will
that
go there
next.
as well.
Plan that next. But I think we're ready to get back into the game. So let's go. Allons-y.
Vámonos.
It was good.
Yeah.
I said it good.
It's the effort which counts, right? Probably.
I said it so good. I tried really hard. We're going to have a talking. All right. When was the last time you at home thought about the Roman Empire? As we get into this match of the week, finally, who will be Caesar?
Don't really know where to go for that one now. Varus, give me back my legions, give me back my gameplay. We're back into it now as the course is over. I know, I practice these things, believe it or not. Level 1 does signal that we are not having a lane swap, which I like quite a lot, because when you have a bunch of lanes which you want to hype up like this, and this is not what Targa wants to be.
He can't crush down over the wall, he flashes, but Supa matches it, and there is a Ren to spare. First blood over to Spain.
Targa with the overstep. Yike now in a really weird position because he wants to get started on A camp somewhere, but there's a good chance he's forced off of this. Alvaro and Elyoya walking up to contest.
How annoying as well. As you said, it's all going to come to Smite Battle. Patience is running out, which might move out, but Yike gets it. He's level 2, but as he runs away, Phase Rush the only thing that gives him heat. As you see Alvaro taking the full damage. Gatling Gun as well going to help out, and a Bramble Smash or two. But no further follow-up. Alvaro gets on out, and Yike regains his jungle.
Yeah, that's really important for Yike, because when you get these weird level 1s where maybe there is an invade coming through, there's a good chance you're going to lose camps, which you by all means should have had rights to.
Yeah.
Getting that steal away means that Yike isn't going to be starved out of XP and gold, and especially falling behind against a Zhao can get really, really dangerous, so that's important.
Well, with that skirmish going awry, with First Blood still going to Super, it's great, but remember again, Alvaro had to reset with that health bar, so it means he's going to be late to this 2v2. It does mean Caliste and Targamas seem to be gaining control for now. As we turn our heads a little bit to mid, and that Corki seems to be gaining control as well.
So we'll have to see what kind of platform that gives to both of these teams to make plays off of. Of course, the poke Varus, very good in lane here against the Calista. We've seen a couple of those arrows land already. Super jumping forwards, trying to get some value down. Of course, going for the lethal tempo with the Renata gives you that ability to kind of drop into the bailout, take really heavy trades, go beyond your HP bar, and then look for a maximum random amount of damage that you can. Problem is, you're going to hit that 0 mark very, very quickly against a poke Varus, because he keeps, you know, pelting you over
Very
and
true.
over. Legolas build.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rarity, but, you know, seeing the poke Varus here in this game is kind of lines up with what you're talking about, the range in draft of what KC really want to do, and, you know, I see it now as well. It is a rarity because I think on-hit has become so common with the current meta of tanks that we've seen in 2 or 3 different roles at this stage.
Yeah, it just feels like everyone's just had a race to get as tanky as possible, as quickly as possible, because it allows you to disrupt very well, particularly when you've got mid laners doing a lot of damage right now, and the AD carries kind of like backing that up too. Once you're in kind of like your jungle support top lane, you don't feel forced to go heavy damage after that point. which is why, you know, we see now the Shinzao and the Xante going to be really hard to chunk through in these later game team fights. So we'll have to see how KC manage their big combo to kill the important people in the back line and not have to deal with those tanks.
It just feels like we're in a football game. Like, it feels like, you know, both teams are there as Flash is going to match Yike right into the enemy jungler, but Elyoya can't get nearby. He's left Alvaro. It's a good handshake back as Elyoya gets a flash out of Yike, but now he's gone in deep. He flashes too, and Vladi matches over the wall with Gatling gun poking him down. It's one after one. KOI are separated, and they don't have numbers. A spear as well, not connecting until Supa gets a double, but Caliste with the shutdown is big. He'll get his own reset.
Yeah, I definitely echo the football sentiments. We'll definitely need to get a VAR of that one as well, because there was a lot to review in this one. So first things off, you don't have the Kalista in range here at first. You're taking a fight on the bot side of the map. I suppose KOI are not necessarily choosing it themselves, but they don't have the Kalista. I wonder whether they could have just left that Renata to die. Feel like they can then buy into a fight. They're not really ready to fight. And the biggest thing here is that because of all of these random skirmishes, we're not actually getting to see the laning prowess of Supa, Alvaro, and Jojo as well. It really has this now Casey trying to just skirmish them away from their lanes.
Yeah, what laning?
Yeah, like, you and what lanes?
Seven pieces of blood in about 5 minutes. And Supa's now decided he's going to play top side.
Hang on. If it keeps going like this, are we going to see Myrwn as Atacon?
Ooh.
Keep your eyes on that one. I only just thought about that.
What a rarity.
I'm just saying, it might be on the tables. Over a kill a minute so far. That would be a rarity.
I mean, I feel like we have to have 15 or 20, and it also takes into account the damage, remember, which... God, I hope there's a lot of that. So you're right, Nymaera, I'll hold my breath here as at least the early game gold lead for KC is something we should mention. Even with Supa and Alvaro trying to get turret plating, you look and you see mid ahead here with Vladi up 300 gold.
Yes, for now, but he did just take a chunk there. Supa Alvaro getting chunked out a little bit as kind of throws out the ultimate, trying to stop the priority for the grubs, which are going to spawn in 30 seconds.
That seems like a very quick level 6, by the way. I'm just going to throw that in there. 5 minutes that was picked up as Canna. You mentioned he's going to clear the wave. I'm now looking at Jojo. What's his wave going to do with Yike coming in? A twisted advance, flash away, charm. Hits a minion! You didn't like that. I saw your face as Vladi picks up kill number 2.
You see the logic. It's okay. Drag the Maokai under the turret. Get the charm afterwards. Now, Yike might be punished anyway, though.
Ruin this Atacon. I'm feeling it, man, because Supa's going to get this kill and Yike's rendered down. 80 carries are going to be fed this game.
Blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne this game. It is all action all the time. Exactly what you want to see between these two super hyped teams. Grub's going to go the way of Movistar KOI, which they were aiming for in the first place by bringing their bot lane top lane. Not really the route I think they expected to get the Grubs, but they'll take it anyway.
It's going to give them one start towards that second part of the feat of strength. Remembering First Blood went over to Supa, so that's how they kicked it off. Supa just keeps swapping lanes. He went from bot to top and now to mid to get the push in, as Vladi's in a bit of trouble, getting poked out as well with good damage from this AD carry.
So Supa starting to really take control of whatever lane he's in. 4-kill Calista will do that. Honestly, a 0-kill Calista will do that, so the 4 kills make that much easier. However, a lot of this early game has come at the expense of mid-jungle of that Zhao and the Ahri. They are meant to be an early skirmishing, snowball off the first fight kind of duo. It is a problem that they're behind. I like the Dark Seal first back from the Ahri. It's always my favorite thing, getting those stacks. I am obligated to talk about Magi's when it comes to my main champion. But I think in this game, now you're going to have to see, well, okay, Jojo, you are behind the game, but you still need to find a way to skirmish your way into a relevant point. How do you do that now with lacking gold compared to where you should be in the game?
I mean, for Jojo, it's not a position we saw him in yesterday, especially on this Azir that had good laning, that had great stats, that led into great skirmishes. So the fact he's behind is going to give him a new test here in the LEC, as KOI will pick up the dragon.
And also, real credit to Karmine Corp for that, because I consider Jojo one of the best laners which NA has ever produced, especially in the mid lane role.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about already Supa and Alvaro having a very good kind of pedigree there too. It hasn't been about the laning of Movistar KOI in this early game. It's been Karmine Corp trying to skirmish them, and the skirmishes have gone both ways. It's not, you know, the hugest advantage. In fact, it's dead even in gold. There is no advantage really when it comes to that. Sure. But I like this approach from Karmine Corp, saying, well, okay, you think you've got good laners. Let's make it not about lane.
Well, yeah, it's dead even because, again, I already talked about mid, but 80 carry, 500 up for Supa, by the way. As you said, it's a strong Kalista who, now with Berserker Greaves, Pickaxe, Vamp Scepter at 8 minutes. Supa's dueling capability is going to be unleashed. And speaking of the Fate's Call, Fate Sealed, Fate Happy, whatever you want to call it, it's Fate Sealed, Fate Called. It's a Fate. He's got his ult. You know what I'm talking about.
You're going to have the 3 Fates at this
point.
point.
There's too many, man, there's too many things with similar names. Like,
do you remember you had like Unstoppable Onslaught and all of
Unstoppable Force, Unstoppable Charge.
Yep. Some words are just good to use.
Yeah, they are. It's good when you get like behind enemy lines, you know? It's like, oh, that's different. Sort of.
Just a little bit. Okay, so we do get ourselves this 2v2 on the top side now. Good thing about Varus getting towards this kind of items, you do get to kind of stop interacting within kind of Kalista's active range. If you misstep badly enough, then of course the Kalista can throw the ultimate and close that distance very, very quickly. But for now, playing at the edge of that Q range keeps you safe enough from this very, very scary Wrecking Ball Kalista. Grubs coming up in a minute 30. See whether that will be the next kind of point of concern. Giving 6 Grubs over to a Kalista with this many kills is a bit of a problem later on. I suppose you do have enough wave clear from the Varus to make it a little bit less scary around kind of protecting your turrets, but still not something you really ever want to give up.
But again, I mean, it was talked about, I think it was Jack backstage talking a little bit about it, how Kalista now feels so much better to move as well. Early movement given with those shoes, and also with Supa with the lead as well. Kalista just has that much more control in the game, that much more power thanks to the changes once the game goes on.
Oh, there we go. There's the ult.
There it is. The Fate's call. Got it right. The handshake, though, a bit of a miss onto Kalista. He backs away.
Was it a miss or was it a slick sidestep?
You can say.
I think you can... Depends which side you're supporting in this one, but still, that is the big play you want to try and make to close the distance against the poke Varus, force him to interact, and Kalista says, no, I'd like to not. Survives that one, very important. If that kill had come through, would have opened up a very easy 6 Grubs, I think, inside of Movistar KOI.
Well, does the pressure amount to enough? You can see Targamas is sitting on the edge, just looking for a bit of an angle. Jojopyun, after dealing with the wave, and now having, well, he's had level 6 for a while, but having that angle, thinks about it, but Twisted Vance catches him first. Bramble smash, he's destroyed. Doesn't get to move, and now Elyoya is stuck here in a 1 versus 2. Vladi hits the circle well and makes sure he's inside with Phosphorus Bomb as well. That 6 Grub dream, I think, is dead.
Welcome to the EU, Jojo. It's been a hard start to this game, 0-3. This mid-jungle is meant to be such a powerful early skirmishing duo, as we've mentioned before. It has not been about that, though. Karmine Corp stamping authority down in mid-jungle.
Canna as well knows Elyoya doesn't have ult. He just runs into melee range, flashes, matches, and overheats right in his face. Elyoya running for his life, slowed down, but in the way is Supa. This fat 80 carry. You shall not pass with a rend in his way, a slow with the pierce as well. Supa will run him down, and Myrwn will help put him into the ground.
Myrwn takes the kill, fully earned by the top laner. Definitely had the most damage in that one. But the biggest thing I noticed on the map here is that normally when you have a kill take so long to be confirmed, normally you're trying to push somewhere else. No one was out on the map there for Karmine Corp. It was an opportunistic play from Canna to try and get a freebie onto Elyoya, but the rest of the team is not really on board in terms of finding something else across the map as Movistar KOI rally to the aid of Elyoya. And now we finally get that Grub spawns. This game has been so frantic, it's been quite hard to set up traditionally for these objectives. And actually, Karmine Corp, they're going to take one of these away, denying the full 6 Grubs.
And I'm going to come back to what you said before. I really hope that this is the ruinous game, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
11 kills, 11 minutes, a lot of trading back and forth, a lot of blood.
I think we're getting close to the threshold. I think it has to be... I don't know whether it has to be 1 kill a minute at the 15-minute mark or slightly over that point, but I've not got to see one of those games yet. I'd be very happy to see it.
The solo queue at a con. We'll just wait and see. Elyoya might add some damage into the pile as Canna underneath this turret looking to move up. The equalizer though forces Myrwn over the wall, but he spams the emote and he's out.
Myrwn gets the extended E range by going to the ally. I'm not sure if Canna saw that one happening. Maybe thought he could force the flash out instead, but it's going to be an ult down for Canna.
Well, as Myrwn backs away, you might have to be careful because Targamas is setting up into position. Meanwhile, in top, Jojopyun and Vladi battling it out, but I mean, this is a Trinity Force Corki. Jojo pops the ulti and he's got Malignant. All he needs is a good orb and a charm. That'll do it, but he's now run out of the ultimate. Jojo gets tagged on the way out, but Myrwn teleports in. You said it was well-deserved before, but this time, Elyoya makes sure it goes to him.
Jojo manages to get the calculation right this time, knows he can get in and get out. Gets himself kill participation from that one. Vladi goes down. Not enough support on that side of the map. KC do have a cross map this time though, while an extended kill is going up on top side. They're taking the dragon on the bot side as well. They now have themselves 2 of those objectives for the feats of strength. There are 2 either side now, so that one is very, very close to be completed by either team.
So it's probably just going to come down to the Herald that spawns in about 3 minutes time. Remember as well, 16 minutes, the Herald spawn. Artican 20, 25 for the Baron, of course, it's been the change. And I'm just counting down objectives because it's what League of Legends is these days. Is
flash.
Let's look for the fight instead. Screw objective, flash away, but the Rell, Magnet Storm, beautiful, but on the other side, I think Alvaro's ult was better. KC have to run away now because Supa has rocked up. And Movistar reset as well, but Jojo will find no one to come back to life.
Looks like a fantastic spot to use the Renata disengage in the way that we warned Karmine Corp about from the draft. But with Caliste turning up at the end, the kills do end up becoming equalized at that point, so it's not the worst case scenario. Karmine Corp actually walk away with better health bars at the end of it.
They do indeed, and they're close to getting first turret in this bottom side. I want to know what's happening top because Myrwn, Myrwn's trying. Teleport's going to be burned. We don't see it on our screen right now because, again, KC pushing for it, but there you go. Feat of strength picking up by Movistar KOI. And Kalista's going to be second fiddle with the turret pod.
Yeah, that's important, and that does mean the feat of strength, of course, won by the blue team. See at the top of your screen. Compare this game now to the last game that we had. One big difference I want you to think about is how, when something is happening, what is happening on the other side of the map. I think in the last game, it was a little bit tentative in terms of, oh, can we move that quick enough? Is something going to be achieved? And it ended up being this kind of stalemate. This time, both of these teams have been really gunning to get something going on one side of the map. At the same time as something else is happening on the opposite side. So they can try and play both sides and get something out while a play is happening.
I see the logo top left, by the way, just to interject. That better not be Voracious Atakan. I see it being red.
We were this close to greatness.
It is just a logo, and that means Atakan spawning. So I'm just going to hold my breath and wait. That's all. I swear to God.
I think we might have just missed it, which is so sad to me. How close we were this close to greatness.
1 kill a minute surely should just be Atakan, you know, ruinous Atakan. I just want to see the 25%. As a side note, he is spawning bot this game.
Which is really important because, of course, whichever side it spawns on changes the terrain of the entire map, and particularly when you've got champions like Maokai who forces you to play against walls or away from walls. It'd be very important, of course, the Leona Rumble. That's the big one. That's not even close to this game. But the Rumble and the Maokai love having walls around their objectives to pin people into those choke points. It can be very, very powerful. So watch for the future Dragon fights and how that might affect things with the extra terrain involved.
Well, playing around that terrain as well, remember the fog of war acts differently, acts like a normal wall. It's something we've seen over day one and, of course, across LPL and LCK. More to what Nymaera is saying.
Did you just call, wow, that wall is a wall?
Yeah, that was a wall. The wall acts like a wall.
Is it blue?
It's... No, that would be biased. It is not. Herald of Spawn, though. And so for KOI, as Supa tries to get this push, you can see they're moving for this. Jojo's also backing with teleport available. And he's going to have Sork shoes in his inventory, ready to fight.
This is a really good power spike to be fighting around. I think for Movistar KOI, you have such a powerful Kalista. You have the Shinsei and the Ahri kind of getting towards the apex of their powers as well. 1 to 2 items really where they start to come to play. Myrwn up on this top side, see what he can do to hold that front line and back line apart from each other. Cassante also very, very tanky at this point of the game. Shyamalan.
Over the wall, Jojo pokes out Targamas. That is their engage, now into half HP. Kalista walks up, Chains of Corruption there, but Orb of Deception just to clear the wave, and there's not enough damage to burst him completely. Movistar KOI get themselves what they want as Charm misses here with Spirit Rush. Jojo struggling here in this game, but Alvaro is not. Look again with that ulti. 2 members berserk, helps them get 1, and Myrwn can't die in the front line. Jojo gets a reset off it as well as equalizer onto Myrwn. Is now the target. He's been auto, but not to death. Jojo misses the charm again, but Movistar KOI have done their due diligence. They've got their kill, and now they're clearing the wave so that that turret stays standing.
Now, it looks like the mid lane turret will just about survive. Elyoya hovering over the wall. It's a place to be sat waiting.
He's thinking about it.
That was a good turnaround mid-team fight from Karmine Corp. I thought as soon as Jojo kind of started jumping forwards, he played his range really well, so he couldn't get caught out by the Maokai doubly playing beyond that range. I really thought that something bigger would come from that, but they couldn't quite close down the kills, and it means that the Herald is taken, but KOI can't really capitalize on the opportunity after that.
You know, I saw Myrwn this morning, and he said unending despair. Whenever we saw tanks, he was just like, unending despair. Unending despair. Even though the item got nerfed, he likes that item, and that's going to be his first item. As you see here in this replay, this is why he could survive for so long.
Yeah, I think Jojo plays his ranges really well here. It doesn't get too close to the Maokai, means that he's not really a threat, and the follow-up of that Renata long range just kind of splits the team beyond it. Thought that was going to be a good intro, but then Myrwn just goes a little bit too far, and so come back to live now, Dragon's being started.
Well, Ren's going to make it a sure thing, and you can see that KC, they're not contesting this. They're just farming their own jungle, and as Yike does that, second Dragon of Movistar KOI going to be taken away. Ocean sold this game as Alvaro looks for a pick, but handshake goes a bit wide.
Jojo potentially could make a play there with Flash and ult. If he got a little bit closer, it could have been very dangerous. Really feel like Movistar KOI now starting to feel like they can make a few more plays. Karmine Corp, they've of course got some really big damage on the Varus themselves. We talked about the Kalista being very powerful. I think the Varus, I mean, we'll see plenty of that now. Just just about missed on the ult fault traded.
It is ult fault, as you just said, as Jojo going to use the last one after clearing the wave. But it was a turret trade as well. Over the wall, we just talked about Vision as ultimate use onto Supa, but after the equalizer, Fate's Call might be the return as Supa instead, or rather Alvaro, picks to get out.
Is he going to continue the play? No, he's not. Could have potentially flashed over, but I think with Flash Cleanse on Calista, you'd just be overforcing and potentially getting turned around on. Right, that would be fair to AD carry, but not a bad option from Karmine Corp. One of the big things I think that Karmine Corp are going to be looking for is to force out the occasional Calista roll. It's not like this is the old Axiom Arc Lethality Calista, which would have it up all the time. That was a really not fun build to play against, I'll tell you that one. But if you can get stuff like the Renata ult, the Calista ult, the Shinzo ult, before the big fight comes through, what you'd normally think of as a, oh, great disengage comp from Movistar KOI, it doesn't function the same when you don't have one of those big ults. So Karmine Corp fishing for stuff like that might not mean much in this case, but the next time they do it and look towards a big fight, that could be genuinely game determining.
I mean, I'm looking at Supa's ult cooldown and it is slowly ticking away, right? It's further to your point that is something quite important to get out, especially when I feel like Alvaro and Supa have been pretty key to some of these plays. We talked at the start, and you specifically mentioned the draft and how mid-jungle functions, and repeating your point from the first 5 minutes, that's not how it functioned in this game. Supa and Alvaro seem to be the key to this, and now with Gwyn's Rage Blade, we're just going to watch those cooldown summoners included here as to how they function on this duo. As voracious Atakan, what a surprise!
We were so close. We were so close. We could have had it all. Dragon now spawned all the same. Look, I'm not gonna think about Atakan for a bit. Dragon on the table. Maybe there's some poke that lands. Watch to see who can enter the river and hold it with enough HP.
Jojo with an angle here, thinking about what he can do. He's only got a Fiendish Codex. That's the last buy since he last fought.
Vladi is on Vision there.
He's got his ult available, and as you mentioned, that ward. It's actually got the new passive on the ward as well, so it is a 4-stack of a side ward, making it harder to take down.
That always just really messes with my brain, seeing the...
Behind enemy lines, or whatever it's called. But look at it.
Isn't that Quinn's ultimate behind enemy lines?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Atakan started. So KC don't have Vision on this. They should... Hang on, this is a giant rend, though. If this goes unseen for long enough, it won't really be an even smite fight.
They have spotted it with the blue ward, though, but it's about getting there. As you said, Caliste also burnt out by Jojo, so he's done his due diligence and kept the AD carry away. Nature's Grass going to come through late, but as you said, the rend could be big, but it's zoned away. Supa not in range. Yike is jumping in, looking to get the steal here while Vladi finds Jojo on the back end, but Atakan is the focus here. However, Targamas went in without his team's focus, and now they're getting the rend. Supa gets a reset thanks to Alvaro. Revived! Alive! Is he? Yes, he is! Canna can't get anywhere near him. He'll withdraw thanks to Atakan, but Movistar KOI, their AD carry, skirts the fight, and Caliste now about to bite the dust.
The spears run out on Atakan, so it's not a clean take from Movistar KOI, but I mean, they win the fight afterwards, and the GAs are now all gone. There might have been one still now available because they died before they got the buff, but still, Atakan goes down, but there are at least, I suppose, for Movistar KOI, no extra GAs to worry about in the next phase of play. This was an absolute mess of a fight. Those spears were really starting to get stacked up, but as you'll watch later through this, because of the equalizer, Supa has to retreat, and he can't get back in range to just keep that cooldown running onto Atakan. The spears fall out, and then suddenly the smite gets really, really hairy after this point. You don't have the uneven smite fight. The job is done from KC to kind of stop Supa from going through that. Don't stop him, of course, from getting the kill after that point, but at least the Atakan doesn't go over.
Man, the bailout clutch. Alvaro is having an insane game. I think Caliste as well. I'm going to give him some kind of praise. His range in these battles are quite large, but I mean, if I start praising one, I've got to praise the others. Still a close game, a tense game. Atakan was taken, as Nymaera just said, but I think most of it's run out.
No, and this is perfect. Vladi does have the GA. He died before it came through last time because I take a chunk out of Jojo. But yeah, we are now almost even in kills. We have 3 grubs apiece. We have, 2 dragons, 1 dragon to the other side. We are very close in gold. Exactly what I wanted to see from these 2 teams. It is a tense affair where we will finally get to execution in team fights, positioning from our key carries, a chance to really prove yourself mano a mano in the rivalry in the LEC, which so many people care about right now.
The rivalry that Spanish and French fans definitely care about a lot. We've hyped it up, and I think we said it a lot last year. It's really exciting to see that, these cultures going head-to-head on the LEC brings out the best in some of the fans. As they've showcased here today, they haven't stopped cheering, they haven't stopped yelling. Whose voice will kill out first? That's the biggest question, as Dragon will go down to the bot side while this is happening. Jojo is going to try and look for the charm. Vladi is going deep because he's got that GA available. Elyoya looking for the knockup. Is he trying to buy time for that GA to expire? Yes, but Vladi will go under turret and find his end anyway.
Yeah, Vladi takes matters into his own hands, says, okay, it won't run out if I choose my own place of my demise, goes down. Immediately respawns at the fountain, so it's only going to be a little bit of golden XP going over instead of the full kills worth. And of course, importantly as well, it doesn't give you anything like Dark Seal stats. Also worth noting, if you die with the GA thingy on, you don't lose them either. That not relevant in this game.
You have tested that.
Yeah, I have. Worth knowing though for future reference as well. And we are back to what is a very even game state. We haven't seen that much prevalence on looking towards the side lanes and pushing it out like that. It really has just been be at the scene of the crime, make sure you're ready to fight all the time, just like this.
But no follow-up. Canna not even thinking about dropping that ulti as Caliste now down with his for a little bit.
And it's really important that everyone's kind of just hovering around this mid lane section. Because in a lot of other games, I say, look, use your map, make sure that you're getting in towards these side lanes. Because the fights are coming so thick and fast, you have to be on the scene. You cannot be unaccounted for the big fight. Because imagine like everyone dies and you turn up after really no mates after that point, really.
True.
You're just going to watch like Baron go down.
Yeah, side laning these days doesn't exist as much as it used to.
It's just not a social thing.
No, it's not. You got to be present, you're right. That's why the party's always here. Caliste knows that, but Jojopyun jumps in to get smacked in the face. He's got TP, but he's going to have to back soon. Nature's Grass on the top side of the fight. You can see that Movistar KOI are getting battered. They ran in individually, and now Elyoya has to pop the ulti. Alvaro as well wants to not only bail out, but tackle out KC as they get so much.
Exactly what KC want from this as well. We highlighted this earlier. The easier you can get some of these big ultimates from Movistar KOI, the better it is for your team fight. You can blow the Shinzao ult, the Kalista ult, obviously that one's still up, but the Renata ult, stuff like that. It gives you so much more ability to play around stuff like Kalista's huge poke coming out from the 3-item spike. Myrwn mana transformation completed as well on that Varus. KC very happy with that phase of play. Sadly, it doesn't lead to a big objective for them, but that's the kind of game plan they want. Just get these ultimates as free as you possibly can.
And continue poking out after the fact. I mean, Caliste is 3 items strong and doing so much work on this lethality Varus. Supa was the one fed, but right now it feels like he can't get in range of Caliste and the rest of KC, who's starting to zone control this top side as Baron has just spawned.
Okay, so Baron spawning. Those ultimates on Movistar KOI coming back fairly quickly, a little over half cooldown left to be recovered from Alvaro's Renata. What else have we got on the board? Of course, the Dragon would be Sol, the next one on the table for Karmine Corp. I have to say, I feel like Dragons in general haven't been as game-winning as before. True. That's normally been with Aftercon kind of winning the game, but this time it's, well, it was kind of nullified at that point. So you might see that be more important again. So you're never going to turn down an Ocean Salt. Karmine Corp can set up for that. One is Calista's once again potentially angling for something in the mid lane.
Myrwn is looking for his own too. Jojopyun and Vladi, though, have been fighting it out all game, but Jojo's just lost his Spirit Rush. Yet again, Jojo, the 0-5 Ahri, having a really tough time in his second day of LEC.
He's gone for, as big ult cooldown reduction build as possible to try and look for these plays, and I'm not going to criticize him for that, but it's just playing off of the platform of poor first few levels where Karmine Corp forced him out of lane. It's really not been the best for him, and now potentially has to answer towards Baron if KC keep on this without that ultimate. Won't be back in time for a fight.
Well, Baron is slowly starting off. Vladi has perma Gatling gun. My ears are... all they hear is this Corki is TP going to start us off, and Baron is going to stop.
Is for now. However, teleport brought out from Myrwn removes some of the options for macro play from Movistar KOI. Can't keep it in the bot lane, and of course you can see right now bot lane is not pushed up anyway as it seems.
Because who cares? Again, side lanes. just not where we're at this time. The Gatling gun has stopped. Wait.
I'm happy.
Oh my god, it's still there.
Yeah, I think it was just off screen for long enough. Yeah. Sorry about that one, buddy.
Yeah, that's alright. It's been happening for a while, and
it's like, some noise cancelling headphones, they have like sounds of like a crackling fire or a running stream. Now, fresh from Summoner's Rift, you have ASMR Corki.
Oh my god. Something to go to bed to. You want a Gatling gun, you got it. Man, League of Legends selling okay, Google.
You got you an ace machine up here.
Bedtime music.
Back towards the Baron again. Big ultimates available for Movistar KOI.
You ever think if you say, okay, Google or Alexa, someone's house right now listening to this broadcast?
Don't do it. Don't do it. That is so
Alexa, play Despacito as we run into Movistar KOI. thinking about this Baron. Alvaro at half HP, but...
I like how you have this outward persona of saying, oh, you know, I'm a nice guy, very playful, stuff like this. I saw you in a hotel bully a robot by the way. He was going up to deliver food to another floor and he pressed all of the buttons on the lift on the way there. This is the kind of person
Don't trust robots that deliver food in hotels.
I saw what happened to with Skynet, that's what you're saying.
Oh my lord. Yeah, it's happening. Well, if you ever been to Chengdu, you're in for an absolute treat. Especially if you like robots. KC, their angle on the back of this Baron is a little bit suspect as well because KOI are going to start it off and you can see that not everyone's there. Targamas has to get into position. KC just thinking about how they approach.
And now KOI, they're going to stop stacking up those spears. They want to take a fight in a single direction, get the maximum value out of the Renata, block the Maokai out like that.
It starts with the Nature's Grasp, but Alvaro's ulti zones them off instead, but instead the engage is great. Targamas jumps on in and Supa gets slow, but the Baron goes down. He got it in the end with his Ren, but can they escape with the buff? Alvaro is caught packing as well as KC have already gotten two. A third on the horizon as Myrwn has the flash, and Jojo, he got out earlier, but 3 for Baron is going to be the trade.
So Baron goes down, Dragon will go to KC, which I think earlier I said it would be the soul. It's not, it's just I got confused by the Atacant symbol as well. I love that. It will be their third Dragon, they'll be able to claim that one. I don't think Movistar KOI can really go towards that objective. And once again, we have ourselves another series of tight contests where KC do manage to skirt just past a lot of that disengage. I thought they'd be running straight into the Renata ultimate. Maybe if we see a replay of that big fight, we can see the angle of that one. Didn't quite get the value which KOI really wanted out of that Baron fight.
Surprised again. I think that Ren came close. Let's watch in our...
Yeah, because you look here, right? Normally you think single direction, the wall's in the right kind of place, you can get a really good Renata ultimate. And actually, Alvaro's had some great ones there, but it doesn't really catch Yike and Targamas. So the engagers don't have to back off. They just walk to the side, they go in anyway. It delays it long enough that the backline has to then start retreating. Yes, they do somehow get the Baron very, very close to run stuff, but the Renata ult for me doesn't achieve quite what it wants to because it doesn't stop the engage actually coming through.
Had a bit of sound darkness. We just wanted to sit on that one for a little bit. Alvaro poked out. I mean, Caliste is dealing serious damage, but not enough here with the equalizer as well. Alvaro's going to get him out. Jojo again, the target tagged, but not dead for now. The grey screen stays away as Movistar KOI still open up mid. That's what they wanted to do.
Jojo has ult and he has teleport. He can recall to recover his HP. At this point in the game, his ult's on like a 30-something second cooldown as well, especially if you manage to... Actually, I'm not sure what his ult needs to stack at. Maybe that'll change things in that, but it's still going to be around like the 40-second mark or so.
Not long.
It's so not really that long, and it also counts from the start of when you cast your ultimate too, so if you use it, wait out the 10-15 seconds it's on, it can basically be kind of permanently up for your combat stats. KC not able to get it for free just that time, and we're now left on an objectiveless map, which means that maybe we could finally go to side lanes.
Oh,
start pushing things out. There's no objectives to start going out again.
That's so cringe.
Yeah.
No. Let's go down mid, boys. See what that's like. Maybe a difference. I mean, a 21 kill game in 31 minutes, at least again. We've had some decisive plays here. We've had some attempted 5v5s. Not even attempted, I would say successful at some points, but Movistar KOI right now, they're sitting on their Baron for, well, it's not 3.5 minutes, that's for sure. It's only 30 seconds left, if you can see. Red Bull Baron power play as Elyoya, he's poked, he's boss respond, but now with the Crescent Guard out, he thinks he's okay until he's caught in place. Perma CC'd up with Yike taking the kill credit, but look, in this choke, Caliste is having the time of his life. Only 18, but he's counting the stacks as Myrwn is going to be next on the menu, boys. Taken down with Jojo going late, but he gets out. A Spirit Rush gets him out of dodge, but he's the only one alive as KC punish hard.
I guess that's why we don't go away from the mid lane. Movistar KOI try it, they go into the enemy jungle, but it feels like the terrain just doesn't work out for them. It's a great ultimate from Yike to pin them into the bad terrain, and Karmine Corp end up cleaning up shot again. Calista is going to be able to take down this turret, and I feel like KC from this will get a lot of vision control. They'll be able to kind of control this bot side of the map, which seems they're pushing in through both mid and bot lane, and then they'll be able to go towards a later soul with the setup they've got off of this big fight.
So much gold after such a short play, but such a big play that finally gives the first major lead in this game as well. especially when they're already sold points. 6,500 gold up. And remember, Movistar KOI, they were the ones who got Baron, a negative Baron power play at the end of the day.
And so much of that lead is on this little Corki that was just on your screen.
Yeah.
A huge amount of gold towards that Corki. Considering that Corki has a hard time playing against sometimes these Ahri aggressive mid-jungle combos, which we've highlighted the whole game. We've phrased it as like a okay, Elyoya and Jojo haven't got what they wanted out of the duo. On the other side, Vladi's got everything he's wanted out of this. And he gets so much damage done in this last fight too. Talked about the terrain being really bad for Movistar KOI. They're forced into it because Elyoya goes a little bit too far and trying to exploit this reset on the map, trying to get into the enemy jungle. That was a fantastic Maokai, and he skirts around the Renata. Again, Vladi finds himself in a perfect pocket. It's not only he's getting a bunch of gold throughout this game, he's using it well in these fights.
He really is, and again, this whole game, he's had it head and shoulders over Jojo. This guy that we hyped up after yesterday seems like nothing in the face of the Greek mid as KC backing away here because Fate Call's been starting us off. Targamas might be called out. Crush down there. Finally a rebuttal here from Movistar KOI as Targa only just gets out, but look towards mid. Myrwn is by himself on 4 people from KC. Butted in the head. And Movistar KOI now in front of this Dragon Pit need a way to get out.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do about their mid lane? The turn and burn from Caliste puts them into such a good position now to take the HP advantage, run down mid lane, and start hammering on this turret, get themselves potentially even a threat onto the inhibitor. And Movistar KOI, they just used all of their tools to try and look for that fight. They have nothing to defend this one. And KC, this is a big lead for them now.
Yeah.
They can start controlling this mid lane so much easier with the super minions coming in.
Yeah, I mean, 7.5k, it just keeps piling up. Baron in 40 seconds as well. Feels like it's going to be hard for Movistar KOI to contest. That Soul as well is an option for KC. Something I know you're talking about, Dragons, that maybe not prioritized much anymore, but with these longer games, you get to it naturally.
You do. We've been, I think, blessed by this game with so much action. Well, it goes long as well. It feels like it has just been haymaker after haymaker. Kalista's been doing so well at pushing up here and not getting punished, and he does it again.
He does jump up, and Jojo tries to punish him. Good charm, but Caliste stays alive. No bailout reset as TP from Myrwn. He wanted to fight, but teleport takes so long. It's like getting in a taxi and going halfway across Berlin.
And they don't even have pocket change. They're just sat there trying to get the coins out to pay the taxi driver. And they try to go again onto Caliste. They failed to do it. Now it's just desperation. Go towards the Baron, hope for something good. Maybe you can get something in the 4v5.
Well, it's all throws bar, it feels like, at this point in the game for Movistar KOI as 4 members still sit strong and the shielding good, the redemption helpful, but look at Caliste poke. They say, no, never mind. Caliste gets jumped on, but Elyoya can't finish the job. Canna going golden, buys time as Myrwn just tries to get to that backline. Chance Corruption stops him though, and now when he's all out, he's a squishy boy. He flashes away, running his space, but the rest of KC have got other things on their mind. As Supa tries to pile it around, but against an Ocean Soul, he doesn't have the work anymore. Yes, he gets the Ren, yes, he gets the bailout, but Canna with his triple shows us again that this import was worth the cost.
Jojo is going to walk up and try and wave clear 1 versus Supa. Vladi is having none of it. Starts to turn on the damage. They will at least get an inhib off of this.
Jojo smack talked EU, but he hadn't versed Vladi yet, had he? That was easy. That was the ace. And in the rivalry of France versus Spain, KC, I said Alonzi, and I meant it here. For their second win, their 2-0 start in the LEC Winter.
The lid is blue today. Karmine Corp get themselves a really, really nice victory out of the big amount of skirmishes. They have to put their mechanics on show. I think Caliste continually holding that mid lane over and over, not falling prey to these aggressive players from Jojo and the rest of them was really key to the victory in my eyes for Karmine Corp. As a unit, team fought just much better than Movistar KOI, I think, over the course of this game.
Man, the KC fans up in action again, a 2-0 start. And I remember there were splits where we saw good KC starts, but like, this really does feel like it's their split. And remember, you can tell them that by voting for your key player of the game. Is it Yike, Caliste, or Alvaro? I would say Targamas is probably that instead. I was told to say Alvaro. Someone on the teleprompter.
It is on the teleprompter.
They want me to say Alvaro. I know he was good, but Targamas, of course, is the person you should be voting for if you want to vote for support. We're going to go to a quick break, and afterwards, Laure is standing by with Vladi and Targamas, not Alvaro.